What if the very thing holding you back was someone you love? What if your next step with God required you to let go of a friend, a habit, a partnership, something that isn't evil but isn't helping? Abraham faced that choice, and his journey with God would never be the same again. We left Abraham in failure, in Egypt, lying, afraid, broken. Surely the story was over. But then these words appear, "And Abram went up out of Egypt, not alone, but with his wife, and Lot." He came out with everything, his wife, his wealth, even grace. Why? Because God isn't done with people who fall. He's a redeemer. He's not looking for perfect material. He's looking for surrendered hearts. And Abraham was not disqualified. He was refined. But one thing still remained, and Lot went with him. Lot was not a bad man. He was family. He had traveled with Abraham from the beginning. But something was missing. Lot followed Abraham, but not God. He was inspired by movement, but not anchored by conviction. He was, in the language of Pilgrim's Progress, a pliable, eager to begin, unwilling to endure. Lot represented the flesh in the company of faith. He walked the path, but resisted the cost. And Abraham, knowingly or not, had brought that influence with him. That's often how it is. The thing that's dragging us down doesn't look evil. It looks familiar, comfortable, connected. But God knows. Until we release it, we won't be free. The problem finally surfaced, not through a spiritual confrontation, but through a practical one. Too many herds, too many mouths, too little grass. The herdsmen fought, tension mounted. Abraham saw it for what it was, not just a resource issue, but a spiritual fork in the road. He didn't accuse, he didn't blame. He simply said, "Let there be no strife between us. Is not the whole land before thee? If you go left, I will go right. If you go right, I will go left." It was wise, it was humble, it was faith, because Abraham was finally free from grasping. He didn't need to protect his place, he trusted God to give it. This was more than a relocation. It was a spiritual severing. God was removing the last entanglement in Abraham's life. Leaving Ur wasn't enough. Leaving Egypt wasn't enough. Abraham had to leave Lot, the last tie to the world's influence. And that's how it works. Before we can enter deeper intimacy with God, He separates us, not just from sin, but from distractions, crutches, relationships, comforts, even good things that pull us from full surrender. But here's the miracle. When we release what holds us back, God multiplies what lies ahead. Abraham let Lot choose, and Lot chose what looked good. But Abraham trusted the God who is good, and that's what made all the difference. Where is God asking you to separate? It might not be a person. It could be a mindset, a pattern, a comfort zone. But if God is calling, trust that whatever you release, He will replace with something far better. You don't have to grab for your future. You just have to trust the one who holds it. This story is from Abraham. The Obedience of Faith by F.B. Meyer, Chapter 6. Separated from Lot. Don't miss the next step in Abraham's journey. Subscribe and join us, chapter by chapter, as we walk the path of faith together.